Recap: as Tuesday night's installment of the 7th season of The Block opened, Gisborne couple Amy and Stu were dealing with the fallout from placing the dehumidifier the wrong way in the best way possible, by going shopping. So instead of watching plaster dry, viewers were treated to the next best thing, watching the duo attempt to choose a color for their feature wall and a suitable bed for their guest room. At stake, of course, is a game-changing advantage should the judges choose their effort ahead of the other three at the end of week, the chance to select the house they really want to renovate. After a trash-talking close encounter with House 2 boys Ben and Tom, Amy and Stu settle upon a bold color choice, one destined to make their dark room even darker. Importantly though, it will meet their brief. Never a fan of blues, Amy believes navy is the way to go, because it's like a whole different color. Decision made, they decamp to the furniture store where indecision reigns around a suitable bed. After sharing his thoughts with the camera crew, Stu finally plucks up the courage to suggest a timber bed head, only to be surprised by a positive reaction from his partner. Crikey, I nearly jumped out of my skin. The last thing people need to see is my running around in my skeleton, and this from the man who got his lower cheeks out on Monday night's episode. Naturally, his moment of elation didn't last long. Meanwhile, in House 3, CHLO and M had decided dividing duties was the best way to conquer the mighty task. Their approach also helped answer the eternal question, what's worse? Standing and driving in Auckland traffic, but despite having a relatively trouble-free day, M's hopes of a 9:30 p.m. finish were well and truly laughed at and, as it turned out, miles off the mark. But both those teams certainly finished the day better than the other two. House 4's Agni and Claire's 15-minute shopping trip turned into a 4-hour journey, with the resulting choice of black paint, historically not a judge's favorite, viewed as likely to cancel out any brownie points gained by their textured, wooden wall. In a last-ditch attempt to salvage something from the day, Agni came up with an ingenious and cost-effective way to source some timber, bribe the owners of another nearby building site with some fast food vouchers in exchange for their tannalized wood. It was a move though that didn't impress everyone. However, even their travails paled in comparison to Ben and Tom's Skylight saga. Their ambitious secret structural design weapon was falling further and further behind schedule, with even site foreman Peter Wolfkamp admitting that while I'm hesitant to say they won't finish, but I think they are going to run out of time. Even working until 2:30 a.m., like most of the other teams, things are still looking bleak, although perhaps their choice of color, hope, could yet be an omen. Thursday morning dawns and after less than 4 hours sleep, the quartet of duos are off to compete in the next challenge. A big old puddle of mud at Hobsonville Point is the venue for what host Mark Richardson calls a really good challenge, one that's going to be a barrow of laughs. After mining the premise for all the puns he can, the former Black Caps opener then reveals that they will be competing for an outdoor wood-burning fire and a hearty valued at more than $5,000. After laying a track of planks, one member of each pair has to push the other in a wheelbarrow and try to steal the other team's balls. Use all 5 of your balls and your team is out. Ever the wheeler-dealer, Agni is the first out of the blocks with this strategy. He suggests to both the boys and gals that they all gang up on Stu and Amy, but tells each of them to then target the other next. The plan works perfectly, until it comes down to a sprint between the blokes and a struggling Agni. Turns out even his inspired conspiring can't stop Ben and Tom from making it 3 challenges in a row. Returning to the houses, there's potentially even more good news for the boys. Their builder has come up with a solution for their trussing that avoids the time-consuming gibbing. However, Peter is not convinced that mitering will actually work out any quicker as it demands perfection. Over at number 3, it doesn't take long for the girls initial confidence that they could even manage an afternoon nap to dissolve, as not one, but two attempts to dry their paint ends in disaster. The credits roll. Wednesday night's action promises yet more color disasters and, finally, the determination of who actually owns the safe that was discovered earlier in the week. Stuff promoted stories recommended by